to the Teen Life Podcast, where we explore your questions to help you make meaningful connections with teenagers, because no teen deserves to feel alone. Have a question you'd like us to address? Email us at podcast@teenlife.ngo. Now, let's jump into this week's question.
What are ways that adults can help teens balance their digital lives? We are back once again. We have Sarah Brooks with us, the friend of the show. Friend of the show? Yeah. Also, super volunteer, Teen Life board, Teen Life everything. Has been here more than I have, so probably. But Sarah's back to answer this question today. And I think when we're talking about digital media, digital lives of teens, it can get very dark and very doom and gloom fast. So let's start with, from your perspective, what are some things of the positives that social media brings and digital lives brings to teens?
You just made a face.
I did make a face because, man, I've been in the digital space helping train, helping teach for close to 15 years now, which is wild. And when I first started, I had a whole list of positives. And the longer I've lived and the longer we've used social media as a society, that list has gotten shorter and shorter and shorter.
Mm-hmm.
And even if I can think of positives, the adverse effect is getting stronger the longer we are doing this digital thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I made a face because that's a tough question for me. I do think there are some positives. I'm going to give you the positive and then I'll give you the creeping up negative behind it.
Yeah.
Is that okay? Okay. I think one, connection obviously is huge, but specifically with kids who find it hard to connect face to face.
Sure.
I think, and this remains a positive to me, but it's just such a small amount. Like, it's such a niche area. But I think if you are a kid who has a really specific hobby or a really unique set of skills, or you have a hard time in social settings, I think you can really thrive online because it doesn't have the social pressure associated with it. You can connect with other kids literally around the globe who have your same specific interests. So I think that is a positive, will always remain a positive. Obviously, the negative side of that is that we are so over-connected. We don't know how to unplug from it. So I think you can also kind of baptize connection as a good thing, which it is, but there's levels to connection. And I think we are so shallowly connected in ways that are extremely unhealthy. So,
well, it used to be, when I was a teen, this was barely starting, but it used to be like, I'll use video games as an example. I made the joke the other day that when we played like GoldenEye on my Nintendo 64, we all had to sit on the same TV, and we talked about, I was talking to my son about how you made rules that you couldn't screen watch, because you could see where everybody else was. And now you can do that globally with anybody. And that's not really a thing anymore. I was bringing that up with him because I was like, it used to be like an art to try to play that game because people could see where you were. And now it's not, because you're all on different screens. So the benefit, though, is, I think, that I see is there are some kids that go home and that's not a safe space for them. So it gives them kind of an outlet to still be with friends when they maybe couldn't be. But like you said, the downside is like, I used to go to friends' houses and do that and get actual physical movement and connection. And so we kind of take some of that. We take all of that out, really. But it also gives people a way to connect in maybe ways they couldn't if they couldn't go out and
no, you're
there.
right.
And so,
it provides an escape, which is both good and bad, right? Depending what you're escaping from, it can be a benefit. If you don't have someone at the house that is connecting with you, I think it does give you an outlet for that. I think another pro, if you will, is you can be extremely creative online. Like, the things kids can come up with, be it music or art, it's just given a real platform for creativity for kids. I think the negative side of that is they've become brands. Kids are brands, and
it's work. It's not fun anymore.
It's work, right? And they have to keep their brand going, and they have to keep their aesthetic. And humans were not supposed to have an aesthetic, And so there's this polish that can come with it that I think is the adverse of that. You can be super creative, but then you do this thing that everyone loves. Well, now you've got to top it. Well, now you've got to keep doing it. Well, now you've got to now you've created a whole thing that you have to manage.
That's interesting. I read a book a few years ago. I think it was called That Sounds Fun by Annie Downs. And the whole point, I remember reading it and being like, wow, she was talking about that our culture, our world does not do very many things just for fun anymore. It then quickly becomes a way to grow your following. It becomes a way to make money.
Right.
Like instead of, let's just do it because it's fun.
Yeah.
And I feel like sometimes you're right. It can be a positive. Social media can be really fun, but sometimes it takes the fun out of it because, hey, I had a post go really viral, so now I have to do it all the time.
Right.
Or I'm so close to making money and being able to monetize this TikTok account. And so it's not fun anymore. Where it started out me doing something with friends, it's work.
That's right.
And
there's literally an
makes me
example
sad.
that I don't remember his name, but there was some dad that was like chronicling his 9 to 5 work habits or whatever. And like he would do like a little day in the life video, and it went so viral that he quit his job. And so now he's lost his brand. And there's literally like these articles about how he's struggled to, one, keep up the views, but two, now his identity is different because he's no longer the working dad. He's the influencer
Content dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not the same. And so like, I mean, like it's just it's you know, we can make jokes too about how like you see the influencers in the wild, like the people doing dances in the middle of Gap or whatever, you know. And it's just it's crazy to me that I've seen teens literally say that that's their aspirations for their career.
Like a lot. The statistics are kind of wild.
Yeah. So okay, let's take off the reins and let's let you loose. What are, on the flip side, what are the most concerning patterns you see with digital lives and teens?
Yeah, I mean, I think we've already been talking about it. Just the physiological, neurological addiction of it all. The dopamine addiction is real. And when you watch, I mean, when you watch kids have a device taken away and then they mirror actual withdrawal symptoms. They don't mirror it. They go through what you see in an addict withdrawing. You see that in kids who have no boundaries in place, have no, their parents aren't controlling the way they're using it. Like it's wild. So I think the addictive nature of it, obviously, we now have all of the data to show how bad it is for mental health. We're no longer wondering. Like, we have the data now. It's been long enough that we have it. The problem, I think, is that no one is brave enough to buck the system. So I think that's super concerning. I think the rate at which we are losing attention spans.
Totally.
Right? That's kind of wild. I think the desensitization, and we here had been talking about this week is hard. We had an actual assassination happen in our country of a political leader, right? We're seeing the video of him being killed. You're just casually scrolling on Instagram, and this video of a man losing his life catches you off guard. And you scroll past that to your next thing that you're looking at, right? Like, I'm going to scroll past Charlie Kirk getting assassinated, and then I'm going to find a recipe for chocolate chip cookies, and then I'm going to see what my friend did yesterday. And it's wild. Like, we were not designed to carry the weight of the world. And that's exactly what's happening on our devices and online. We are taking in the entire world, and we cannot mentally handle the load. And so we don't. And so then everything becomes desensitized. I can scroll past this video and be like, oh, that stinks, and move on.
Right.
That should be a horrifying thought to us. And that's not us being terrible humans. That's just the rate at which we take things in online. When we are not filtering what we're allowing in, we dish out our compassion and our grief and our joy and all of these things. We dish it out all over the internet. And then when it comes to our regular lives, we're exhausted. We're like, man, I don't have energy to do anything or to talk to anyone. Well, because you've dished out all of your energy in places that you weren't asked to go, or like, you know what I mean?
It's almost an overexposure to good and
Absolutely.
bad. Like you're saying, it's not just overexposure to bad.
No,
you're right. There are times where I see something and I'm like, oh, that's fun, and keep going. Where if someone had told me in person,
yes,
this
like
super
we're
exciting
pregnant
thing
after
yes.
12 years of trying, and you're just like, heart.
Yes.
What?
Right.
And to bounce like a pinball between just utter evil and devastation to, oh my gosh, that's the best day of their lives. Like to bounce back and forth as casual viewing. Right? It's just so it's too much, but I think it also is jacking with our humanity. Like I think it's dehumanizing. Right? Because we're viewing lives as content.
Right.
And that's not what life is. And I think we are, on the flip side, we are contributing our life as content. Right? Well, so like what you were saying about being, I'm sorry, I cut you off. I'm suddenly on a soapbox here, which is maybe why you had me come so I could be on my soapbox. You know, you were talking earlier about, I don't even remember what you said, but we can sacrifice in-person moments. We shortchange them because we need to tell everyone else online about what's happening in this moment. Right. So even while if I'm at the zoo with my kids, I can't just be at the zoo with my kids. I have to take a picture and then let everyone know. Well, I've shortchanged that moment. That's what you're talking about. You're talking about fun. Yes. We can't do things for fun. And to add on to that, we actually like shortchange the relationships that we are actually in real life by blasting stuff to people that have memories of a goldfish.
Well, and that's what, to your point about the attention span, I mean, literally just yesterday, this is from a sports perspective. I mean, I remember when I was a teenager, it used to be you watched a team that you knew that was local, and then you got the paper the next day to check the stats of the games.
How old are you? Like a newspaper?
No, I am. Yeah. I mean, I was an old soul already. Like I was, yeah. My dad trained me to be an old soul with sports, especially. But I used to get up and go get the paper, and I'd read the stats of the games. You know, I do. Again, I like that I can go online right now and see everything I want from a sports perspective, which is great. But the NBA commissioner yesterday was talking about the fall of viewership and how like we have all these streaming options, but there's no longer a way to see things, and like there's all these battles between streaming companies and whatever. And his exact answer to how do we fix that, he's like, well, if a fan wants to watch a team, they can watch highlights. And it's like, why would we want to push the shortened, non-full version of our product? And that kind of goes to like, that's how we've trained our society. Like the way that we consume things is, well, I don't want to sit down and
sound bites.
Yeah, I don't want to sit down and watch this 3-hour Mavs game. I want to watch the 5-minute recap and get what I need. And I think everything in our life is kind of like that because we are overexposed to use your word. And yeah, there are benefits to it. Like if I wanted to tell you like where the Rangers are in the standings right now, I can pull up my phone right now, and I don't have to have my paper to do that, you know. And so, but you know, it's just created this to use your word, the adverse effect of we don't want to fully engage and fully what's the word, consume what's out there.
We don't want anything that's hard. We want it to be convenient and we want it to be easy. We don't even give kids a chance. Like go to a pediatric doctor's office. There's iPads in the waiting room. We didn't even give my kid a chance to wait. There's a movie playing. There's go to Chili's. There's that little thing on the table that your kids always want to buy
$10 a game if they accidentally buy one.
Exactly. We're not even giving them a chance anymore.
Well,
we've entertained ourselves. What's that book? I actually haven't read it, but I love the title, Amusing Ourselves to Death. We've entertained ourselves completely out of boredom. And I genuinely worry we cannot be bored anymore. Like we cannot just sit. Look at every red light. No, look at anyone driving. we can't even operate a vehicle without tweaking out on our phone.
So let's talk about schools, parents, and like even like mentors, youth pastors. If we can't fix it, obviously we can't fix everything. We can, and if you do these sweeping things in your household, like you might be creating more problems, or maybe you're not, but what can we do as mentors, parents, schools to help model a balanced digital life?
Yeah, I think I love that you said we can't just sweeping throw everything out. I think
Mm-hmm.
parents will try that, schools will, and we're seeing that right now with the
Yeah.
phone ban. The problem is we have not gotten to the root with our kids
Hmm.
of the issue. And so taking the phone away, they're not equipped
Mm.
to be bored. We have not.
Yeah, you're creating withdrawals.
You are
Yeah.
creating withdrawals, and they're going to figure it out. And I think
Yeah.
they are. And I think there's a lot of positive coming out of schools right now with the phone bans.
Sure.
But you've ripped it away without giving them an alternative and without working through the process and coming up with it. We have not equipped our kids to be bored and to have an analog life.
Mm.
And so when you take the device away, that doesn't suddenly fix things. That creates other problems, right? I think for parents, adults, anybody, it absolutely starts with us, right? It starts with modeling in our own lives. I was very convicted about 3 years ago. Because of being in this field, we have very honestly healthy, not that we do them well, but I've just learned from so many parents. We have pretty like strong boundaries and rhythms in place when it comes to technology, and I'm really grateful for that. My 14-year-old still doesn't want a phone, in his words, because I see how addicted all my friends are and I don't want it. Those are in his own words from his own peers, right? But I was convicted a few years ago that I ask my kids to have all these boundaries with devices, but they never see me without my phone. I tell them, you don't have to have this. We're fine without this. But then they never in their lives have seen an adult be further away than an arm's length from their device. They've never seen that modeled.
Right.
I did. I grew up in a time when everyone did not have a cell phone. They've not seen that modeled. And so for me, we do screen free Fridays, but that means for me, I do not have my phone on Fridays.
Yeah.
It's extremely socially awkward, but it's extremely important for my kids to see, hey, it is okay to unplug. No one is that important, me included, right? So maybe that's extreme for you, but I think to model them seeing you unplug and you're verbalizing like, I am putting my phone in the other room and I'm not going to touch it. So maybe it's working hours for your phone. Maybe it's certain like one afternoon a week they see you put it away. But I think modeling intentionally being away from your phone. Maybe when you go somewhere fun with your kids, you say like, I'm going to leave my phone in the car so that I can be fully invested at this museum or at Six Flags or wherever we are. Right. I think that goes a really long way.
I think the dinner table's a low hanging fruit for that one.
Dinner table.
especially.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And honestly, it's hard. Like it's so much easier for me to set a boundary on my kid who can't say otherwise.
Right.
But then I turn around and I have the worst boundaries, right? So I think them watching adults model the same thing we are asking of them. They don't see that often.
What does it look like because I know you said that your son understands maybe a little bit, hey, this is difficult, but surely there have been battles in your home around technology and boundaries. So what does it look like helping them, maybe even setting their own boundaries? I don't know how that works in your home, that helps them get the buy-in.
Right.
And helps navigate some of that tension, because there has to be tension there too.
Oh, absolutely. And it's, whereas he sees all the group chats and he's like, no, thank you. Well, that's personality, right? It's gender, it's personality. And so his battles are with the PS5 instead of, right? I mean, we obviously have battles. I love how you said get the buy-in. I think that is one of the easiest tools for parents or caregivers, adults, whoever. Again, ask your kids their advice. So I love asking teenagers, would you give your kids Snapchat? Would you give your kids TikTok? 99.9% of the time, it doesn't matter if you come from an awesome family with wonderful boundaries or like your parents are MIA and they have no idea what you're doing or how or where.
Right.
It does not matter what the situation of the kid at home. 99.9% of the time, they're like, absolutely not.
Mm.
Okay, well, then why do you have it? Well, because everyone does, and I don't know what else to do, right? So I think asking them what they would do, if you were setting these boundaries as a parent, what would you do?
Hmm.
Okay. But then also, this school year, I asked my kids, I was like, all right, what's a healthy rhythm for y'all? I'm not you. So what is a healthy rhythm as we start school? What do you think is a healthy rhythm for our screen time? And they said, and I held them to it, and they were mad that they said this. They go, 3 times a week, we each get an hour, unless it is above 75 degrees. And then we only do it. What did they say? It was like, then we only do it 2 days a week because we should be playing outside. That was their
Wow.
answer. And so I held them to it. I was like, oh, look at the temperature. You guys should be outside right now. And they're like, why that? But because they made that rhythm,
Yeah, they can't fight it. I
they
mean,
can't fight
yeah.
it. And that was their buy-in,
Mm.
right? So instead of me like, we're only gonna do screens, what do y'all think is healthy? And we talk through it all the time. I think it's so important for us to not just model healthy boundaries ourselves, but also to talk through, hey, this isn't an us v you thing.
Right.
This is an us v technology in its rightful place thing.
Mm.
And so I struggle with this too. Here's my rhythm that helps me because here's where I get out of whack. What about you? Like talking through the issues as a collective, humanity instead of like parents versus kids or adults versus teens. Like, no, we're all struggling with this.
Mm.
And so asking their advice about, okay, as a 4th grade boy, as a 6th grade boy, as a whatever, what do you think is a healthy rhythm? What do you think is out of whack? And how can we,
Yeah.
you know,
And there's things too that so with my oldest, we kind of were forced into the technology age because of COVID and he was at home alone, and I am not old enough to need a home phone. So I didn't have a home phone. And so I really read papers, but I don't have a home phone. But if you're like me, and so I mean, I'll admit openly that we kind of let all the cat out of the bag, and it was hard to pull it back
Yeah.
in. And so it's been hard to kind of rein
Yeah.
some stuff in that we should have done the first time. And unfortunately for his younger brother, he's going to get a lot more rules because we
Yeah.
learned a lesson. So he's going to be mad when he's older. But one thing that I've been using for my own self too is I think I talked about it before on this is the Brick app, and it's like it's a
Yeah.
thing that you buy. It is $50, which I think is a little extreme for a 3D printed thing, but it basically like what I've been doing now is like when my kid goes to anywhere that he doesn't need his phone, he bricks his phone before he leaves, and I've been bricking my phone when I leave the house, so like I don't need social media and
Yeah.
stuff on my phone
Mm.
while I'm gone because I'm supposed to be working or whatever. And it's been much better for not only my work ethics, but also like my mental health because I'm
Yeah.
not doom scrolling in the middle of the day. Like
Right.
even like I'm a 40-year-old man saying that out loud, and I have like the brain, development to know when I need to stop, and they don't. And so using the tools that there are tools out there you can use
Yeah.
to help bring balance, even if it is a little forced. The Brick app is great. Like like it's, I have a friend that has it for his kid and or for himself, and he's a grown adult. He literally gives it to his wife and says, "Go to work with this, so I don't have an option to unbrick my phone."
Yeah.
Mm.
And that's how
I
he.
mean, that is like sobriety, really.
Yeah,
The
1000%.
Yes.
Yes.
the a level of addiction. That's where we're
Mhm.
at. Is that's sober living.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, that sounds extreme to say, but I think we are at a place where it's going to take extreme measures to kind of right the ship. And that's what gives me I don't have a lot of hope for social media, but I have a lot of hope for the next generation
Mhm.
because they are way more aware.
They recognize
They
it.
recognize it.
Yeah.
They talk about
Yeah.
it. They are very open about things. They're very quick to point out what their parents do. That's a question I love asking teens is, when is your parent on their phone that you wish they weren't?
Ooh.
You get some kind of hurtful answers, right?
Yeah.
I mean, because they're very honest, they're very aware. I think that we as adults, as caregivers, as teachers, whatever, I think our generation, if I can lump everyone together, man, we're in a bad way.
Mm-hmm.
And the kids coming up behind us, the generation of teenagers right now knows that. They recognize it. They do not shy away from it. And they themselves, you see this resurgence of flip phones and of not being on social media. I mean, I think they are going to be the ones to put it in its rightful place. It's never going away. And technology is an incredible tool. But when it's in it, you know, when it's not in its rightful place, it is using us instead of us using it.
Right.
And I think it's the next generation and the one after that's gonna.
Yeah.
And I think you already see that changing a little, which gives me a whole lot of hope, actually.
So I mean, if you're listening, there's a whole lot of tips and takeaways in this whole episode, and just know, like, there is no right or really wrong answer for this. We're all learning together, and I have to remind myself and remind others at times that we are still in the teenage years of having this technology, and so we're figuring this out all together. And so just remind yourself that it's just take it one day at a time. And if you liked this podcast, or you liked what Sarah brought to the table, we have other podcasts as well. So subscribe on our YouTube or wherever you listen to podcasts, and then reach out to us on social media to podcast@teenlife.ngo and submit your questions for our future podcasts. And we'll hopefully see you next time.